Hello, my name is Stephen Bost, and I have a story to tell you that something that happened to me when I was in Nepal. Last year, 2014, September, I went to Nepal to help out with an orphanage over there in which the Swami, the one in charge, is creating a school and out from this orphanage and an organic market and organic produce that they grow there and sell. So I went over there to help them out. It was November 19th. It was early in the morning. We were on our way from the ashram outside of Kathmandu to go to the new ashram they're building in a place called Gulmi, G-U-L-M-I, Gulmi, which is northern Nepal, not too far, about 80 kilometers, I say, from Tibetan border, up in the foothills of the Himalayas. That morning we were to leave about 4 o'clock. It's a 14-hour drive by bus. They had rented a bus for us, and there was going to be a big program that they were doing there. So I was going to be a part of that. What happens to me on a spiritual level is that on occasion I feel, in America, in the West, we would call it the Holy Spirit. In the East, they call it the Shakti, and they give it like a female connotation. And it's the belief is that the divine is both male and female energies, combined the two. If you look in nature, there's everywhere you look, there's male and female. Well, in this belief system, this Shakti is the power of the One. She is the creative force. They call her the Divine Mother, Mother Nature, if you will. Well, we got up early in the morning and getting ready to go, and they had some spiced tea, chai, there that morning. And I was hanging out with another group of Westerners that are about to go. Well, they were from France, and they were speaking French, which I don't speak. So I felt, maybe I'll just go wait in the bus. It was kind of chilly that morning, and like November 19th. And so I said, I just went and got my seat in the bus, all by myself. And I was sitting there, and I started to go into this meditative state. And when that happens, I go sometimes really deep within myself. My mind gets really, really quiet. I'm at peace, and I felt her presence. I felt the divine presence that morning. That morning, it lasted about 3 hours. So the people, all the kids, you can imagine, 30 children, pretty much, mainly children, with maybe 10 of the older children in their 20s, all from the ashram, all helping out at the orphanage, all older ones all being like teachers and students themselves. A lot of them are going to college. And they were helping all the younger kids there and everything, getting on the bus. But I was in this really nice, peaceful state, so I was sitting there. I felt her presence. So we took off in the bus, and at one point, all the way just near where our destination, it was at night, the bus driver says, "That's it, I'm not going anymore. I'm not driving anymore. It's too dangerous. We're up in the mountains and there's windy roads." And he said, "That's it, I'm not taking it." So he refused to go anymore. So we had to offload everything from the bus and start carrying it about 3 miles or so in the mountains towards our destination. So I'm walking, I'm carrying what they call a torch over there, we call a flashlight. I had a flashlight, and this other younger woman wanted to borrow it because she wanted to go ahead and go on. Well, my mistake was I loaned it to her. Now it's dark, and I'm walking along the path, and I slipped and I fell down the mountain. I fell about 90 yards, sliding fast down the mountain. As I'm falling, my first thought was, "You're falling really fast." My second thought was, you could die. Then I realized I needed to slow myself down. So I dug my heels into the soft dirt, and it was almost like that, very steep. And I dug my hands into the soft dirt, and I started to slow myself a little bit. So I'm slowing myself, and I'm kind of moving down the dirt, and then suddenly my feet hit this bush as I'm grabbing a couple of other little bushes along the way to kind of slow me down. And my feet, when they hit the little bush like that, I stopped. And I had a hold of a couple of branches. I'm laying there in the Himalayas, foothill. I'm at the side of this 9,000-foot mountain. I'm looking up at the stars. I see all of these stars in the sky. And I felt at peace. I was totally at peace. My mind was quiet, and again, I felt the presence of the Divine Mother. So anyways, they heard that I had fallen, and some like Sherpa type guys came up, and eventually they put a rope around me and pulled me up, helped pull me up, and I scrambled up and got to the top. And I was somewhat injured, and it took me a while to kind of recover, and still haven't totally recovered, about a year ago. And but all of the children from the ashram and the older people and the main man, the Swami Ramchandra, all were saying how blessed I was because the Divine Mother had saved me. And I felt that way because at the edge where I stopped was like a cliff. And over the edge was probably a sheer drop of maybe 600-700 yards down. I would have been killed for sure. But I was right at the very edge, 2 feet from going over. And so both Swamiji and I later on talked about that and thought, well, maybe there's a reason why this has happened to me. Maybe there's something more important in my life about to happen. Maybe I was saved for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. But I do know that I was saved that day. And which is interesting, when they were looking for my bag that had fallen with me, I had my medication with me, they also found my camera that had fallen out. I couldn't believe it. They were scrambling in the dark on this side of this sheer mountain, and they found both my bag and my camera. I mean, those guys are just great. So I wanted to share that story with you because sometimes we don't know about how much grace or divinity or the great beings are guiding us and helping us with our lives. But for me, for sure, on that day, I felt that the Divine Mother had protected me, and I think will protect anyone who will call upon her for her assistance, for her grace. Namaste. Thank you very much.